shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, winter, Winternomics.
What up, what up? It is a late start, but let's see, 8:33. I see 82 people. Is that what you guys see? Mic check, by the way. You guys hear me? 81. Definitely skeleton crew vibes again, right? Pretty low. And that's about the active count of acolytes. So, some salt out there. Oh well, go figure out the market on your own then. What's good? But yeah, pretty low count. So we've seen that. Like I said, retail's getting their balls cut off, and we did an evolution to the room. I see some of the folks talking about, trading lounge. Oh, shout out, by the way. I see some crazy numbers down here. Shout out our boy John, Early Ray, Tiki. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate the birthday wish to Arboin. Yeah, we've done some things. I've done some upgrades to the community, so we've kind of extended the show into a Discord where now we can go from here with some of the TA we do in the show, and we can literally take it and run live right in the market, right from the show seamlessly. So for some of the new folks in here, I think you guys, it sounds like you're enjoying the evolution. To me, this is the only way you can actually train traders, is to actually like hands-on train people. There's not much else you can really do with that. As you guys can see here, this is Trading Lounge, and this is Winternomics TV. This is the main chat where the guys come from live calls, and we do our market prep. And you guys remember this guy? He did his crazy long seasons and seasons he was having in the markets, winter, spring. We read this one last time. It was crazy, and this was his first day in the room. All right, that's the guy who wrote that giant war story of going through hell and hopefully better luck next time. His first day in Trading Lounge on a live call, 11 hours, 11 times his risk. Pretty good turnaround in the first day in there, and that's what's possible, right? We can turn your shit around on a dime. Like I said, I'm responsible for a lot of your OGs out there that look like anything at all, and take a phone call to fix most of what you guys are doing wrong. So if you guys want to fucking actually learn how to fucking like make decisions in markets and things like that, learn how to use the analysis and kind of fine tune some of the things that you think you don't know right now, this is the spot. So we've definitely set it up to make it easier for you guys to win. Just closed from yesterday, 4 hours. Watch these guys all day, just printing wins all day, right? 8 hours done for the day. That's 10:30 in the morning. Hour into trading yesterday. All right, dudes just print fucking money. So we've actually tuned this place up. You guys dig it? Jump into Trading Lounge. It's the OG room from 9 years ago, brought back, attached to our show. So this is this morning. We're actually on call for 3 a.m. On the Euro session, and then we picked up a Euro short this morning on the way down. So Eurozone, US zone, whatever, it's global. All you guys who sleep on Eurozone, we're going to talk about that too, because you guys sleep on some pretty big opportunities. And I definitely think you guys want to pay attention to what's going on in Europe as much as you pay attention to what's going on in America. Like we've talked about, markets are excessively liquid, and we look at the SPY and he's always gapping around and stuff like that. And I don't think people realize the gaps that you see in the USA are coming from what happens overnight in Europe, you know? So if you look at how choppy U.S. sessions have been, right, the real big runs in the overnight for the S&P have actually happened in the European time zone, and gives us gaps in the U.S. session, which megaphones the hell out of everybody. But you look at what it takes for us to gap around, and it is the movement that you need to capture is going overnight, you know? You look at like this pump in here from 1 a.m. through or whatever, you know, we can go back into further into time into September and look at it. But a lot of your crazy gaps were runaway moves overnight, you know? This is going from like Asia running through till fucking we get into the USA over here. And that whole move comes in, you get into a chop zone for USA. So you want to pay attention to this. If you can capture some of the overnight stuff and you're in a time zone to do it, like don't sleep on it, you know. All of these indexes are correlated, you know, as S&P. They're S&Ps basically of every country. And so you can play, you know, in those different areas. This is my indicator I want to use. So for any of you guys who aren't paying attention to this, this is the French one, and then UK 100. Right. Yeah, I gotta call this CAC. But right. So if you're in France, Japan, USA, Germany, right, the market isn't just on USA time frames. What the S&P is doing overnight is keeping its relative valuation with all of the other similar assets around the planet in their respective municipalities. So you guys can play overnight, you know, in case you guys didn't realize that. So all you Euro guys and Australia guys that have adapted to like only trading US sessions, wake the fuck up. See 106. Struggle is real this morning, huh? Man alive. Are we not putting out enough content for you guys to figure your ways out? What else are we lacking? What else do you guys need? Throwing out fucking free gifts after the birthday and everything for the community. Trading Lounge is straight fire. If you're paying attention there, your life in the market should have gotten fantastically easier. So we got a new guy on the show. Dinosaur Bones, welcome back. I know you're an OG of the Discord, so welcome back to Discord. Let's see. So I'm not gonna drag this show out. We're at 8:40. Want to try to get off before 9:20. That's definitely the goal. I'm gonna get to Worcester, see if you guys wrote me one, and then I had something on my old blog I want to talk about. Well, I don't have any new Worcesters, so that's okay. So on the old blog, we had been looking for a blog post that I wanted to talk to you guys about when we were talking about the 2007-2008 fractal potential with today's scenarios. And this was kind of an outline I did of like the mechanics of how they do the stuff they do, right? And this is really interesting to look back at this cycle and kind of see what you see that's similar to what you see now. So the Federal Reserve, you know, begins cutting rates when the market's down in the grave in 2009 to save the day. And this is like really interesting because, you know, the lag between when the central bank does things and when you see it in the marketplace tends to throw people off once your memory gets a little far enough from the event. And it all gets looked at again like it's fucking, you know, new. But the reality is they've done this the same cycle so many times. As I said all along, the Fed engineered a crisis and have come back to be our hero in our time of need. It did not matter who became president. This was the only outcome that could have been. Give me control of a nation's money and I care not who makes its laws. Famous quote by Myers Amschel Rothschild, right? Bernanke, a scholar of the Great Depression, has just about fulfilled his mission to firmly entrench the Federal Reserve as the alpha and the omega when it comes to the United States of America. Tim Geithner, who was then the Treasury Secretary, the former president of the New York Fed, is now the Treasury Secretary, is the one selling the scam to Congress. Congress will put on a show as if they don't like the idea, but watch, they will approve the Hydra's power, mad ambitions, and the Federal Reserve Private Bank will inherit the USA lock, stock, and barrel. At first, I was amazed at the ease of how quickly they moved this plan along. Then I did some people watching. Since the whole damn country is asleep or oblivious, there hasn't been anyone to stand in their way. This was literally like taking candy from a baby. Simplified steps to conquer a nation, right? Increase the Fed funds rate 17 times during a debt boom, housing bubble. Have George Bush close, this is something most people don't remember anymore, closed the bankruptcy window, which he signed this change in law in 2005 April, to go into effect in 6 months in October 2005, in the middle of the fucking refinance housing boom, and trapped the Americans in record debts. This adjustment to the bankruptcy law that used to allow Americans to wipe out debts, Chapter 7 bankruptcy, he changed it to where only people who made less than $29,900 could use it. Otherwise, everyone would end up in restructured long-term debt, unable to escape debts. So George Bush made an adjustment to the Chapter 7 law that hadn't been touched since 1981. 1981, if you remember, is fucking where gold spiked and you had the inception of the last major bull cycle. Well, that was where people had the ability to get out of debt. George Bush turned that off. So the Fed is jacking up interest rates. The adjustable rate mortgage market is tied to an index that the Federal Reserve controls. All the indexes are pretty highly correlated to the Fed. So when the Fed moves rates, he moves all adjustment indexes, the COSI, the COFI, LIBOR, whatever the fuck your adjustable is tied to, they're going to move it when they change the risk profile of the country. So changing this and making sure Americans won't escape at a time period that no one will remember in 2008. No one will know about this then, right? Delever, crash the commercial banking system, lower rates to save us from the banking crisis they just created. That's next, right? So they've got us in a place where they can delever the system, and the offset from when they began the rate cycle to when the full explosion shows up will allow them to pretend they're heroes in the middle of fucking a shitstorm. Transfer millions of dollars worth of private debt onto the shoulders of the public at interest to the Fed with bailouts we believe we need. Have the Fed put in charge of everything, right? They basically got superior powers to shore up the system, and so did Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley, and put in charge of everything on both sides of the equation to protect us from the crisis they manufactured to ensure our safety. And it's game, set, match. But this is a playbook. You're now in the middle of this rate cycle at this point, and you're going to see what ultimately happens when the delever gets too crazy and they turn around and say, we have to do X to create liquidity in the marketplace. It's a bloody disgrace that 300 million people could sit on their asses and let this happen right in front of them and be so easily deceived about the realities. But you all are so mad about Kayleigh Anthony or Scott Peterson. This is the dominant headlines of those days that they tied up the whole TV with. How did the media bamboozle all of you so easily? Did any of you notice the media cooperatively blankets the TV with garbage news when this would be the most pressing issue to us all? The problem is power is colluding to close all the channels you could learn from. And if no one asks questions, well, then you'll get no answers, will you? Right? But the thing is, people don't ask questions. They wait for the authority to give them their conclusions. And so it's very, very easy to, give the country its ideas. Whether it's a blanket fucking, we all hate Russian citizens this week, or we think we need booster shots that week, right? The tail wags the dog. It took me an hour or two of my spare time to piece it together and make this prediction. It should be very worrisome I was able to get it right. This was supposed to be a surprise to everyone. Do I seem very surprised to you? I'm not Nostradamus, so that means there was an agenda they were executing, an agenda very crooked, wealthy people tend to follow when they want more power and need to trick it out of others. It's called problem, reaction, solution, and the entire country just bought it again for the umpteenth time in a row. I would say wake up, but perhaps our country is better off in the hands of people who are already awake. Think about this. What did I write down here? It's been a while since I read this one. A man or men with $1 billion or more would never let a pauper make his decisions for him. If you still believe in voting have fun. Lord knows George Bush was laughing when he took power, but Iran has the crooked elections, right? They're all crooked. No one who has power has it by chance. We are in a top-down society, not the other way around. The best slaves are the ones who don't know they're enslaved. Your media is lying to you. So this is back in the day. I actually made this whole blog post to try and get to people that I knew personally, like family members and colleagues, and then emailed it to them and got laughed at. So it didn't work out. Couldn't warn anybody. So anyways, there's a formula to this shit. So if you never read the old blogs, definitely check them out. That's basically like a time capsule of the events of that day, the way they unfolded, and everyone is equally as surprised by that shit back then too, and it really was something that you could see coming a mile away if you paid attention. So let's see, what do you think about China advising state banks about a dollar dump? What do you think about China banning Bitcoin for the 5 millionth time? Don't pay too much attention to the news. Just watch the price. You'll figure it out before they do it, right? If they ultimately already know that Russia and China are attacking the dollar. I don't think I give a shit about when they fucking make public announcements to the general media. Just it'll show up in price first. All right, so that's good. So after all of that, half hour in, I see 114. What a trickle this morning. Very, very low. So skeleton crew vibes, market could probably move pretty hard today, depending on what happens. We have an 850 number that's got out of the way. So I guess let's take a look at what's going down this morning. All right, we got this chart. All right. All right. We have our gap chart we've been watching. So we 2B the low. We talked about this on the last show. That potential 2B would create a situation, right? If you use the 2B low, you could kind of see something like this, right? A recoil from the 2B, some kind of flag above here, and then, a cannon blast up. And we have our last gap, which he didn't quite make it to, but now he's trading within this gap. So as you see on the way down, gaps are pretty good areas to watch for range trading. So I would pay attention to this. It's the same above here, just a gap down. Doesn't mean he's dead yet. He goes back to the gap. Treat that as a good trigger. But from here to here would be a range I keep track of. The way you see he kind of traded between this on the way up and down. So I would pay attention to where he's now. He's gapped down. He's within the range of yesterday. So nothing too crazy. I'm not sure what the fucking number at 815 did, but nothing too crazy from it. The VIX, right? We're watching him from the last show, and he's tracking back towards this angle and kind of creating a bull flag right now. In this bull flag from September 27th is the SPY pump on the lows. So we want to see how far that goes. That's going to be how far the S&P can go right now. So if he actually makes it back to this angle, and he's at a good swing level to watch Goku's level today, if he goes underneath that, stays under that, the market can recover this small gap down, price back up, and this could keep on consolidating for a second more. So remember, we're watching for the potential of a bear flag in the Dow Jones that would take him back up underneath the break of this low, something like we saw, that could last for quite some time in the fractal of 2007, right? So if we're in the fractal of 2008, my bad, you'd be in this bear flag right now. And we know this bear flag, when he went off, to July 2008, it lasted to September. So it can last 2 months possibly, if it's something of the same scale coming off of the back here. So he could totally dick around, we're at October. He could take it to December before he fucking rotated out of that and structurally match what's going on back there. So, right, that's kind of the location if we're rolling over. We look at this in the same resolution too, right? This is kind of what you'd expect of your moving average of this same resolution. He's just beginning to top over here where you've got this bear flag. This would be exactly the same spot if you did it. If you look at where he is, in the rotation over into the trend, he's in a perfect location to mirror it. So if this does kind of stall for a second, then we can probably track him in this guy and wait for a rotation out of this to lead us into the next version of that. So if we do want to look at this also, we can kind of take a look at how that looks right now, this location. Let me see if I can just open that side by side. That makes life easier. Load, test. See how fast I can get this guy together. All right, so this is where we are. This is easier. So just looking at this guy right now, right? Just where our verticals are to line them up in the different years. This would be the flag we're watching for, and this guy can take some time. If we want to track him in the VIX, right, we look at the VIX of today. That's a little uptrend right here from this kind of rotation, and we go back to the VIX of yesterday. Right, and look at where it is. So you get this kind of this pump right here, which is this pump right here, and you get a corrective structure that takes 2 months, right, July through September. So we get a pretty big bull flag, and he'd violate this uptrend. So he'd look like this shit's over, and then Armageddon hits. So Armageddon hits while he maintains a longer term uptrend grind, which is what we're also watching happen here, right? So it's more than structurally similar the way he's coming into this shit. So he's got a longer term uptrend grind that's lasting years. This guy was the same shit. He was kind of showing himself from 06 where he began, and he ultimately ran into this fucking climax, 2 years later. So this guy is running, I'd say they call this trajectory increase before COVID, and you're in 2 years really from this point. So there's a chance, right? A lot of things look alike. So if he's going to come down, he's going to come down and bull flag through this angle if he does exactly structurally that shit over there. So we go back to this guy, and he'd make it, right, through this and look fucking like it's over. So when we have this, right, you don't ever want to go bull flag. It's got to do this next. What you do want to do is track the angle of the decline, because a bull flag is a crash cycle. So how far he goes is just how far he goes, right? That guy ran that far, and then you could kind of change the trajectory and be like, okay, right there. And it's your first possible rotation up. We can track them like that. So that's, I don't know why I have solid lines. That's so weird. So we'll use a dotted line because that shit's mad clutter. So right now we'll track this shit. I don't know what the fuck setting that is. And we'll follow that trajectory down and see how far he goes, right? And he could actually violate it, but not structurally rotate all the way up and come down and change the trajectory of the bull flag. All those things we kind of have to be really nimble about, evolving the logic for the analysis for it, and making sure we don't get like bullish on VIX before we really should. So it doesn't have to go 2 months, but right now this is the framework we're going to work with. And this is a trajectory from what we are going to treat as our first target. If we're going to get here, the market is going to get higher. So, all right, that's that. And then the DXY, if we chill there, may or may not continue doing what he's doing. But for the time being right now, right, he's bull flagging with the VIX back. So how far he goes back is tied to that. We can zoom in a little bit. And so you see like this, if this is what the VIX does and he actually migrates out of it but doesn't structurally rotate and dumps, you evolve the trajectory to track him into a bigger bull flag. So this is what we're watching now. And is this looking kind of like rotationally? Yeah, it does. But you want to keep a few other things together to see if this is really going to happen. This guy over here, whoops. Let's turn this shit off. All right, so that guy. Oh shit, I was like, what? So we had this guy back here. Remember, this was on the sheet we put into market prep inside our OnlyFans inside of Discord. So this was a good structure to rotate up, create this high. Now we've pulled back. How deep do you go? He's already gone through the top of this system, recoiled on. If you held that, you probably want to pay attention to the same way this came down here and landed in this system. Could he come down all the way to this trigger? Totally can. For right now, like I said, we're tracking this bull flag and we're tracking the VIX, what he's doing. And they could deviate, but for right now, they've been pretty good about confirming each other. So keep an eye on this and see if he holds here. If he holds here, then we want to watch it like EURUSD and see if this guy actually rotates down, right? This was the flag for the bull flag we projected. He never made a rotation. We gave you a bullish scenario that you could play on Euro. A lot of people played it. Now he's pulling back this morning. This just means that you redraw this guy also to go in line as a DXY. And we keep our same projection anyway. All right, that's the eventuality. If he comes out of there, he maintains the structure of what he's doing. This is what's next. So we just track it, see how far this fucker goes. GBP, the Queen's Money, what's happening with this bitch? Decent recoil on that motherfucker. We kept track of him. Under the last major floor here, if he holds off of this, it might be worth keeping track of DXY structure right now in that little possible rotation up on the bull flag and GBP here. And these guys to see if we're going to get like any more extension to the squeeze or if that was it. If that's it, then the VIX becomes something we should probably pay attention to. But there's a couple pieces here, so let's move on. Oh yeah, crypto things. So we haven't looked at this guy in a while, the UST.D. Let's check him out, right? So we had this guy drawn up for you last time we drew him, and this is the range we gave you. So it's been a while since we came back and pulled this guy up. The Trollax Shockwave, we said that's an emotional range we pay attention to. So that's pretty good. It's about time we came back here, huh? So where is this guy? This is September 21st. And so he's been dicking off in here the whole time, and this entire range that's a trigger out for the de-risking of crypto and NFTs as a whole is directly related to this level underneath BTC. So this now, you have a couple things to give you a confluence if the VIX rotates up and de-risking happens in crypto and a broader base move is coming to all of NFT space. You'll see it over here in this guy taking out this range and staying on top of him and pulling off something that looks like this shit. So I made him red because upwards here equals bloodbath to all of crypto and NFTs. So that's that dude. And then ETH, if you want to look at him. Right, ETH is still inside of this range that somebody in the fucking show already went and fucking smacked before it left. Leave it alone. Let it leave this shit. So you'll get confirmation on this guy when you get BTC and a couple other risk assets picking the direction out of the structures we just showed you. If you guys saw it, Elon is going to go ahead and go forward with Twitter. So there was a little bit of life in Doge. Remains to be seen if that gets any better, but I guess looks like Elon is going to go ahead and pick this bad boy up. So this is the last time we ever looked at Twitter, and you know, geometry never lies. Elon just barred it right through fucking this angle. So we'll see what happens. We stay above this. It looks like Elon's going to take it, and that's probably going to be stories over for Twitter. All right, so I think that covers most of our stuff we need for our overall macro of where the fuck we're at right now. So we're waiting to see for that, you know, bear flag of the summer fractal to develop and possibly give us more upside to play into, or you know, we're at an inflection point with DXY and what we see in crypto right now in UST.D. So that would be it. Guys, get all that? Get all that? Hit the like button if this shit keeps you in the right place mentally to do shit. What do you got here? MPC, ASX. Wow. Very few symbols, very few people, very few symbols. I can do that. What's my time scale? 8:58. No way. It's not even 9 o'clock. You believe that shit? And we got the fucking symbols? All right, MPC, ASX. Let's not find a way to fuck this up. MPC is some pipeline guy, I think. Yeah, marathon. And we have that guy done already for you. So that guy is... we did him some time ago. Probably lower res. Alright, so yeah, what did we do? Had this uptrend thingy. Whenever this projection was, this was a projection formed. If he could go up here and sustain this level, he could actually rotate out. And this was a lower projection if he came out of it. So he kind of didn't really do either one of these, to be honest with you. He did a corrective structure that I know we left this on here and we drew the bull flag of it. And we didn't make a projection with the bull flag. He just bull flagged it and he rotated. This is your trigger level. And again, you can always play your triggers up, right? There's your location above trigger level, and now while he's out here, we've obviously got the bull flag, which we were looking for, like, you know, in this or in this. But you got him here now and above trigger, so that's kind of what you want to pay attention to. Rotation up. There's a lot of energy stuff that people took their eyes off. We talked to you guys about energy a couple shows ago to keep your eyes on it. Now a lot of people are watching it, and energy stuff looked interesting, right? There was a lot of stuff in interesting places. Which we pointed out to you. XOP and some of these guys look interesting. You know, Oxy that Buffett's ballsing into. All these guys look really fucking crazy. That's not the Oxy chart. Where is it? Oxy. There's Oxy. So that was the last time we drew a bull flag for you on Oxy. We showed you where he was, and he rotated that, and then, you know, a lot of guys did that with him. COP. I don't think we have a chart for him. CVX we might. But yeah, you can see it. I don't know. Some of these we have some drawings for. Good lord. XOP, we told you we zoomed out. It's like, you know, keep track of this. You know, this is the kind of resolution you're really watching these guys on. They're not done. These are likely really, really massive bull flag rotations. We also talked about ERA. Keep your eyes on this guy. All right, there's a whole bunch of stuff in energy. It looks pretty interesting and a much bigger scale than most people are willing to pay attention to. ASX, somebody asked. That is, what did you ask? ASX, is that right? ASX, I guess so. All right, ASE. Is this what you wanted? ASX? Somehow I don't think that's what you wanted. It was MIN on the ASX. Okay, it's Australian stock. All right, I got you. MIN on the ASX. Got it. All right, this thing. What is this guy? Non-energy mineral. Okay, whatever the fuck he is. He's going apeshit. Who else looks like that guy? PXD. I think somebody looks like that. Anyways, let's go with this guy. Oops. MIN, ASX. So this dude looks pretty good. Let's jump out real quick, see where he's at. Okay, he looks retarded. So pretty good looking level. He's sitting on top of 2B, on top of it, back on top of it. Then we had Genius to see what he's doing. Stays above that and keeps pushing out. I think he looks bullish, you know, to extend. So he's a system, a flag system on top of an old system. So that's as bullish as you can get. He goes through here. Whoops. Jeez, sucking him in today. Yeah, that's a decent entry if he goes off top of there. There's just like a fractal of that if he can keep extending. But for right now, maybe another major kind of structure while he's kind of blasting up like that. But yeah, he looks good as long as he sustains this, you know. I think he's pretty bullish. That's min. That's min, Nomics.eth, and LTC USDT. LTC is on. There he is. Okay, cool. This is the right side chart. All right. So we look at him. This is LTC fractal of 2017-18 cycle. This is LTC this cycle. And, you know, so looking at the overall big trajectory that I have here, right, we had a low resolution flag. This entire bounce, this is the summer bounce of crypto. This entire rotation out of this angle within the larger bull flag, but he never ever got traction to pump to go towards the high angle. So this guy has been pretty much dead money as he rotated out, and this is the entire push that we see of the summer. So if this guy is stepping down again, right, and that's a bear flag that he's ultimately going to go to, then the low point of my targeting could end up getting hit while he maintains this trajectory. So this is my worst case trajectory to actually finish out the cycle. And right now, until he violates this angle, right, that's not done. So this was my original timing. He didn't make it. We bounced for summer, but this is probably still viable while he's trapped in here. And, you know, the overall system looks like it looks for a possible fractal of 2008, and the Fed is still leading on, you know, drawing liquidity out of the system. It gives this guy potential to fucking, you know, actually make it to this dead zone. So I think that needs to be kind of kept in focus. This is still the macro tide of crypto right now, and the risk cycle, you know, this season in crypto. So it's not over. This guy comes down. A lot of those PFPs we told you, all those people are still wearing. That really give an indication that the market hasn't really hit the bear cycle that says I don't want anything to do with fucking NFTs. Is still really a thing, right? The fact is, all these NFTs are down fucking 90%, and everyone still has their PFPs up. In the bottom of fucking the trenches, motherfuckers that love crypto don't want to fucking hear one word about it. You won't see the assloads of fucking community still wearing those PFPs. A lot more people's avatars need to come the fuck down for the cycle to truly be done. So that's kind of like, you know, something that's worrisome about like the overall macro tide of this trajectory. Until this violates, this cycle really isn't done. Oh, whoops. All right, and then that LTC I did, so I already forgot. Was it Clonex and what? Oh, I did LTC first. All right, Clonex. I can just get that here. NFT price floor 8906. I'm not making it to 920. I am not doing that. All right. So we had a clone stories just came out right here. Man, I did a couple Clonex charts for you guys. I don't know if you guys remember them, but I wonder if I could find them. Let's see. Hang on one sec. See if I'm not retarded. I could find the old one. Oh wait, I put it into the channel, I think. Well, I hope so. One sec, looking, not there. Oh yeah, sweet. This was the last time we looked. 9/26, whatever day this was. This top guy is the ETH chart. Okay. So this is what we had last time. We're sitting at 626. Sorry, I can't see so good. And we talk about watch him to go through like about the mid sevens, wherever this is, ballpark. 7.5 clearly above it. So this was your downtrend, your shockwave for the pump in January. This is where I caught mine. And then, you know, a good retest in here. The dollar price went a little bit through it, right? The dollar price got under here, but was kind of holding a double bottom. So watching this at 81.05 and then a possible rotation up through here. This is a ways off, but the ETH rotation is at least, you know, looking the more likely one now. So up back through the box range towards like the 7.5 mark to get like some kind of, you know, potential for gas to keep on going. And then that is up. This chart sucks so much ass to use, but we're gonna use it. So we grab UOSER. And all right, and then the box range. Damn it. So as you can see, one sec, I gotta close it so I can get this thing bigger. Okay, so as you can see, he's just starting to make his way up through this resolution. Don't have all the wicks, but a little bit above here, you know, before like about 7.2, 7.25 is the rotation out. He clears this high. This is the most bullish thing you've seen, you know, in the half a year in CloneX. So he's making an attempt to get his way out of here. So I guess pay attention. He said Clone-tober. They really have a lot of news, so good news flow. Little euphoria, decent accumulation. Might give us a chance to mark this up. So probably worth paying attention to, at least in the ETH price, right? And then the dollar price, just for the sake of putting it on here. Right, it was 8,100 he had to hold. He was down in the trenches last time we looked at him. So, you know, you can see he's like bounced up like, you know, almost 2 stacks. So dollar price showing some recovery from the lows, you know, and right now this is about as bullish as if you've seen it. So this is only going to really hold ground though if the market's floor doesn't come out from under it. But like we said, the VIX, if he does mirror what we saw in 2008, he may have more to fall towards that like uptrend angle that you saw. And if that happens, then that will allow for some risk assets to get a bit more breather before, like, you know, we rotate the VIX again. So I think that's it. So hopefully you guys got everything you needed. I'm not going to 9:20. It's 9:10, bitches. I got this show done. Closer to the on time. Posted OnlyFans. Yeah, found it. My bad, didn't read that. If I didn't want to hear the word ICO ever again after 2017 cycle. Right. So you're not going to want to hear fucking like, PFP or fucking community or any of that shit in the bottom of this cycle. You're like, fuck you and your goddamn garbage NFT, right? When you hear that shit, then, you know, now we have an absence of fucking sellers. There may be a chance. But till then, be wary. Keep that LTC fractal and larger scale downtrend in mind. The larger projection for VIX, while we try to make some money in the near term of what it does for us. So, till next time, motherfuckers. Stay safe. Catch you on the flip. Peace.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, Nomics.
So,
Welcome.
that was exhaustion at the bottom. You don't know what else to tell.
Winter.